iPhone 14 Pro Max versus iPhone 15 Pro Max. These two phones are flagship ni Apple for 2022 and for 2023. Now, there are some incremental upgrades, but yung kanilang presyo is quite far na from each other. Alamin natin after this quick intro. So guys, ang iPhone 14 Pro Max na may 256GB of storage, mabibili nyo sa Beyond the Box for 66,990. And si iPhone 15 Pro Max na may 256GB na storage, mabibili mo sa Beyond the Box for 81,990. Link on the description. So simulan na natin comparison. Of course, ang comparison is always nice kung sinimulan natin with yung unboxing experience. So kita natin, both of this box, parehong puti, iPhone 14 Pro Max and iPhone 15 Pro Max. And pag pinagtabi mo sila, yung kapal niya is, well, exactly the same. So, buksan lang natin sila pareho. So, this is what you'll see pag binuksan. And outright, you'll see na halos pareho naman itsura nila. Wala masyadong pinagkaiba, but there's just a slight difference pag pinagtabi mo sila. Of course, if you take it out of the box, you'll see the accessories over here. And of course, pareho naman sila, no? May SIM ejector pin, some manuals, and yung sticker na Apple. Yung major difference nila would be yung kanyang cable. So, si 14 Pro Max is still having the lightning cable, C to lightning cable, while si 15 Pro Max has the Type-C to Type-C na cable. And it's braided na pala, by the way. And of course, as usual, wala silang charger, walang case. So I would highly suggest that you try this one out, si Anker na 312 charger. This is a 25 watts charger na saktong-sakto that would fit your iPhone 15 or 14 Pro Max. Type-C na siya dito. And of course, pwede na gamitin yung supplied cable nyo or you can supply your own cable. This is a very handy and very small na charging brick na pwede mong dalhin anywhere. And Anker is one of my trusted brand pagdating sa charging. You can check the link on my description. And if kung naghanap kayo na suggested ko na case, you can always try this one out kay Momax. And what I like dito sa kanya is yung frame na dito is aluminum. So, anti-gasgas sa ating camera na bump. And of course, mag-safe na rin siya. So, you can use this one and clip it to any MagSafe na accessories na meron ninyo. Sturdy and matibay ang feel nitong case na to, so it's really good. Link also on the description. So tabi lang muna natin to. So see, the design is, well, almost the same. Pero pag nahawakan mo silang pareho, masasabi mo na this one is way lighter than this one. Si 15 Pro Max is only around 220 grams, while si 14 Pro Max is around 240 grams. So, alam naman natin ang pinagkaiba nila is yung kanyang material sa side. So, this one is made out of titanium metal and this one is made out of stainless steel. And alam naman natin ang property ng stainless steel is even heavier than aluminum metal. So, that's why medyo mas mabigat nga talaga to. And ang harap niya is also glass finish. So, one thing na mapapansin mo if you take a quick look is that yung kanyang bezel looks thinner than the 14 Pro Max. That's one of the things na napansin ko outright nung tinitingnan ko siya is yung kanyang bezel. It looks really thinner. And pagdating naman sa display, I don't see much difference from the both of them. Both of them still having the LTPO Super Retina na OLED display. Parehong 120Hz of screen refresh rate. And parehong up to 200 nits ang kanyang maximum brightness. Parehong ceramic shield glass ang kanyang protection. And always on display. Parehong meron. So si 14 Pro Max, alam natin na it's using a A16 na Bionic chip. And si 15 Pro Max is using a A17 Pro na Apple na chip. Pagdating mo sa GPU, it has the Apple GPU na 5-core. This one has 6 cores na. So watching some shorts dito, some videos, you'd see na, well, almost exactly the same. Wala naman sila pinagbago, no? The clarity is the same. Wala mong mafe-feel na differences between the two. And it's really punchy ang kanyang mga colors. Napakinggan lang natin, no? I-max out lang natin ang sounds from the 14 Pro Max and 15 Pro Max. I got all I need, you know nothing else can beat the way that I feel when I'm dancing with my girls. So outright, masasabi ko sa inyo, almost exactly the same naman ang kanilang sound. Wala namang advantage si 15 Pro Max over sa kay 14 Pro Max. Almost the same lang ang loudness ng kanilang sounds. Now, if you take a quick look dito sa kanilang gilid, you see the change. This one used to be a ringer toggle, no? So, pwede mo switch on and off. This one, iba na. Binago nila into a switch. So, you can choose this one and palitan mo kung gusto mo maging ringer toggle siya. Pwede maging camera shutter button or ibang function na gusto ninyo. And mapapansin mo, hindi na shiny na rin ang kanyang side. Unlike yung before, it's quite shiny. So, maraming fingerprint smudges. But the disadvantage naman ng titanium is na pag madalas mong hawakan, nag-fade siya. And of course, one of the biggest changes din dito sa kanya is that si 15 Pro Max is already using a C2C cable and si 14 Pro Max is still using the Lightning cable. Ang kanyang battery size medyo lumaki konti kay 15 Pro Max at 4,441 mAh and this one is 4,323. And pagdating naman sa charging, pareho naman sila PD 2.0, so that's 25 watts, 15 watts of wireless charging, and of course 4.5 watts na reverse wireless charging. Now pagdating naman sa kanyang camera sensors, I would tell you na almost the same naman sila, but there's some changes sa 15 Pro Max. Si iPhone 14 Pro Max has a 48MP na main camera sensor with OIS, a 12MP na telephoto lens na may 3x optical zoom, and meron din siyang 12MP na ultra-wide lens. Then yung kanyang harap is a 12MP na may OIS na camera. Kapag dating naman kay 15 Pro Max, 48MP main camera sensor with OIS, 12MP na periscope telephoto lens up to 5x optical zoom. So take note, 3x optical zoom kay 14 Pro Max and 5x optical zoom na kay 15 Pro Max. And meron din siya 12MP na ultra-wide lens together with a 12MP na front-facing camera with OIS. So pag-usapan natin right now some shots na nakuha natin in comparison with these two cameras. Now, pag tinignan naman natin tong dalawang shot na ito dito sa bato na to, one of my favorite shots. So if you take a look at it deeply, dito sa 15 Pro Max and si 14 Pro Max, pag hindi mo zoom, hindi mo siya mapapansin eh. Pero if you zoom it in, you'd see dito sa bato na ito, yung details na dito is very evident, no? So parang mas maganda lang yung kanyang pagka-color dito. Kita nyo, yung mga color ng orange dito. You see it a little bit more evident dito. And parang mas fine yung details na dito sa mga etching na dito as opposed kay 14 Pro Max. Now, if you take a look naman dito sa bato na ito, as usual, very clear naman ang kanyang mga photos na ito taken at the same spot, but you see the difference between them is parang medyo mas brighter konti dito sa vines. So you'd see yung ito medyo mas darker green and this one is a little bit more of a lighter green na color. But to some extent, pag tinignan mo yung mga details dito sa likod, kay 14 Pro Max medyo parang mas may detail. So siguro maybe nagkaiba lang sila sa focusing. So ngayon nung nilalaro na natin ang ultra wide lenses nitong dalawang phone na ito, you'd see na pag tinignan mo itong dalawang sky niya, yung sky ni 14 Pro Max is darker ang kanyang blue. And mapapansin mo dito kay 15 Pro Max, it's a little bit lighter. Now if you check yung one-time zoom, this is how it looks like. And same din, yung sky niya, no, doon nagkakatalo. But the rest is almost the same, sharpness, almost all good. And if you take a look at yung kanyang two-time zoom, well, yung sky pa rin ang nag-iibang color. And if you use yung kanyang 3x zoom, and this one is a 5x zoom, so doon mo makikita talaga na mas useful ang 5x zoom. Normally, I'll be using 5x zoom on more occasion than a 3x zoom. Kasi for me, a 3x zoom, medyo bitin siya. Siguro pinaka-max ay 5x zoom. I don't really use too much of a 10x zoom. Madalang, no? But 5x zoom is more usable than a 10x zoom. So, 3x zoom medyo bitin, but 5x zoom, masasabi ko yung sakto lang yung kakayahan niya, no? Which I think is a good improvement for the 15 Pro Max. Now, if you take a look at some outdoor shot naman, you'd see very good naman mga shots na ganito makita mo. And pag tinignan mo sa background dito, and ang kaya blue dito is not so same. Parang medyo smudgy and dirty yung dito sa 14 Pro Max. And as opposed dito sa 15 Pro Max na nakuha natin, which I think looks cleaner. But if you look at the other details, it looks almost the same. Now, nasa indoor naman tayo, we're able to take in some of these shots. I think parang mas maganda yung focusing ni 15 Pro Max as opposed kay 14 Pro Max. Both, tinuldo ko dito sa gitna nung nito mga tea leaves na ito. But it seems to me, medyo nahirapan sila pareho mag-focus. Hindi ko alam kung saan sila nag-focus. But it is almost the same distance naman ang kuha ko dito, but 15 Pro Max was able to focus it better. Now, if you're looking naman sa food photography, almost the same naman sila, and if you zoom it in, you see some really nice details dito. But I think parang mas maganda lang yung shot the 15 Pro Max as opposed kay 14 Pro Max based on what I can see dito. Now, kung mahilig ka naman sa bulaklak, you'd say na, well, both of these shot looks very nice, very simple, very elegant. Pag zoom in mo dito, it looks to me halos the same lang. I could hardly tell the difference. So nilaro din natin pareho ang kanyang ultra-wide lenses dito. So this is a ultra-wide shot. You'll see the difference between them except that yung LED light is different kasi nagbabago-bago ka na ilaw. Yung parang mas maganda yung mga focusing na dito sa sides, kita natin. As opposed dito na medyo mas namuti ng konti. Makita natin pag zoom in natin. Now, if you're taking a look naman dito sa normal shot, which is a 1x, ito parehong 2x naman to. And both looks good except that pag tinignan mo itong tao na ito, mas malinaw siya kaysa dito sa tao na ito. Now, if you're taking a look naman on yung pinaka-best zoom na kaya na, this one is 3 times, this one is 5 times, I would say 5 times is always better yung kanyang zooming capability. So again, another indoor shot, you'd see na yung, parang mas brighter ang pag-reproduce ng iPhone 15 Pro Max sa mga photos as opposed to iPhone 14 Pro Max, which I think would be a lot better if you're taking a lot ng mga low light shot. The 15 Pro Max tends to perform a little bit better. Kasi makita mo, let's just not talk about yung kanyang subject, no? Makita naman natin na parang mas maliwanag naman to. But if you're taking a look at the floor, mas maliwanag din ang floor dito sa 15 Pro Max as opposed sa 14 Pro Max. Now, if you're taking a selfie shot using the front-facing camera, you see na talagang medyo mas maliwanag, mas brighter ang makukuha mo using the front-facing camera. And equal naman ang kanyang details. Kuha naman lahat ng blemishes on my face except that parang medyo mas maganda lang i-post sa Instagram ang nakuha ni 15 Pro Max. Now, on equal footing, both of them looks quite good. And I could hardly tell which is better. Except that siguro mas maliwanag lang ng konti kay 15 Pro Max. If you're taking a bokeh shot, I think si 15 Pro Max did it a little bit better pagdating sa pag-cut ng mga edges dito. But hindi naman sila nagkakalayo from each other. Pero kung titignan mo mabuti, ang damit na sinusot-sot ko dito sa 15 Pro Max looks quite better than the 14 Pro Max. Now, pag tinignan naman dito sa indoor na portrait, I would say na yes, indeed, si 15 Pro Max looks quite better. Ako, pinagtabi mo itong dalawang selfie video na ito, almost hindi naman sila nagkakalayo. I would hardly tell the difference. And both are stable, very smooth naman. And the color, I think, parang medyo mas maganda konti lang kay 15 Pro Max. And pagdating naman sa kanyang rear camera, parehong smooth naman, no? So, we're using kanyang mga zoom lens while we're walking. And you see the sheer difference nila. Ito kaya mag-zoom up to 5 times zoom, optical zoom, while you're taking a video. Si 14 Pro Max only up to 3 times. Both naman very stable. So guys, after comparing these two phones, halos hindi naman sobrang laki ng lundag ng 15 sa 14. And you'll see some nitty-gritty details na meron neto na wala dito. Like, let's for example, yung mga details sa camera shots, mas malinaw dito. And pinakamalaking boost neto is yung kada 5 times zoom as opposed sa 3 times zoom neto. Now, pagdating naman sa screen neto dalawa, ang bezel neto is quite thinner already right now as compared sa 14 Pro Max, which I really appreciate. Probably the biggest improvement dito for me is kanyang weight is 240 grams to 220 grams. And all the other details are quite small and medyo negligible na siya. And if you're still holding on your iPhone 14 Pro Max, I would say this is still a very, very good phone for 2024. Pero kung hindi ka pa nakapagbili and you have the extra budget, you can always go for the 15 Pro Max, which I think si 5 times zoom is really nice. And yung kanyang weight is a lot lighter compared sa luma. And of course, hindi mo na kailangan gumamit ng lightning cable dito sa 15 Pro Max, by the way. So guys, kung natutuwa ka sa mga comparison like this one, a like and a share from you would definitely be appreciated. And I hope na mag-subscribe din kayo para ma-notify kayo once nag-upload ako ng mga comparison like this. I'll see you soon. And so, ako para si Richmond and you're watching Gadget Sidekick. What's up? Like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. For one of my latest uploads, click the dito. And for one of my popular uploads, click here.